Stefan Verstappen is back with us tonight for his monthly visit, and he has done and achieved, with the help of his many, many friends, probably the ultimate textbook example of a preparedness community. And it stretches out over, I think, 60 miles or something like that. It's not just one little group. It's spread out, but people who are beyond cooperative, and they put it all together. We'll talk more about that as well. Hello, Stefan. We made it to 2024.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh? Good to be on the show again, Jeff. How was your Christmas?
How is yours?
It was good. It
Thank you
was
for
good.
asking.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I'm just a solo act here, and it was
I know, I know. I've
pretty.
I've been a solo act my whole life. For me, the holiday seasons were not a time of joy because I never had a family. So, you know,
Understand.
doing all the happy.
Mine ended when I was 6
Yeah,
on Christmas Eve, actually.
yeah, yeah. No, last time I
Yeah.
was with my family, so-called family. That was the end of it too. That was when I was 18. So that was 50 years ago. That's when I said, enough of this." So no, it's not a happy time for me because I don't care for everybody else has seemed to have a happy family and good for them, but I didn't. And then of course there's New Year's Eve, which I always thought was an overblown event.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
everybody made a big deal. Oh, New Year's Eve, we got to go out. We got to get totally shit
No,
faced,
no, 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 no.
and it was
Stupid.
always a big disappointment for me. When I was younger, yeah, okay, let's go to a bar, let's go to a New Year's Eve party, but it was always like, this is boring. And then that follows immediately, uh, starting on the 9th, by my birthday, which was another big disappointment. So, no, normally I don't care, but now for the last 3 years, I've been celebrating Christmas and my birthday with my adopted family. So I go over there, we have Christmas dinner, we open up the
Mm-hmm.
presents, and I feel a lot of love from them and the kids, and we have a good time. So the last 3 Christmases, I can't believe I spent 3 Christmases with these folks, but it's been good. It's been
Uh-huh.
good. But this
Well, good.
this comes at
Good
the
on
age of
you.
65.
Good. Very good. Okay, what's new in the community? Are you constantly fine-tuning it? Are you introducing new things that everybody can pitch in and do? Are you revising and upgrading your general protocols?
Always,
How's it going?
always, yeah,
All
we're
right,
always
give me
upgrading.
some examples. Give me some examples.
Okay, so we had a meeting yesterday, right? This is the first meeting
Yeah.
we've had in 20 days because we stopped having meetings just before Christmas, and then through to Christmas, New Year's, and all that. And then last week, we didn't have a meeting because half the members were sick. So we finally got together yesterday. It was Thursday, and we're talking about the coming year. 2024 is going to be brutal, Jeff. You know that. I know that. And I'm sure your
Yeah.
listeners know that, but this is really going to be the crucible year. It's going to be tough. So we're getting ready for that. One of the members brought in like another half dozen canes, beautiful canes, and he's selling them for like $12, Jeff.
All right, I
Solid.
want one. How do I get one?
You
I
want me to
gotta get
send you
one.
one? I'll buy you one and send it to you.
Boy, that's very kind. No, I really do. I want one. It's a great
Solid,
thing to have.
solid oak, and
Yeah,
beautiful, unfinished. It's just it's a beautiful piece of wood. I like wood.
I, 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 I get. No, wood is beautiful. Wood speaks. Wood is nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love wood.
thank you. I'd really like that. That'd be great.
Okay, afterwards you have to send me your address, and I'll see what I can do about sending you one.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
like, I mean, he's selling them for 12.50, which is nothing. And so I bought an extra one. I already had one in maple, but this oak cane, and it's heavy and solid. Oh my God, you can do damage with that. So I got
Right.
another cane, and then we discussed things, and I was nominated to be the team leader for our security team. So now I'm the team leader for the security team. Now
Ah,
we haven't done a lot in the security team. We focus mostly on medicine and on
Mm-hmm.
gardening and on food, and because those were our priorities, food and medicine, right? And
Got it.
but now people are starting to think that maybe we should start to focus on security. We had a couple of the guys coming last night that came to our meeting that are from our sister community, which is, they're about, well, let's say 45 minutes away, which is just about 15 minutes too far for
So
us.
your community spawned a knockoff, a clone, a sister
Actually, our
community,
community is the knockoff of the other community. They started for,
whatever. This is good.
yeah, it was founded by ex-police officer, um, OPP, which is, the equivalent to state trooper, and he founded that community. And then from that community, we founded our community. And there's also two other communities not too far away, but they're not doing as good as our community is. They're still not as well organized, and they're not as focused on the different teams like we have. So, okay, so now I'm going to be the team leader for the security team because our sister community, their their security team is better than ours. In other words, they do more training. We haven't done anything in terms of, well, other than my workshops on cane fighting. So I did a couple of workshops on how to use the cane as a weapon, and just to get our members, proficient in some form of self-defense. But we haven't done as much as the other community. But we're going to change that now. So first thing is we're bringing in a firearms instructor because there are a number of our members that do not have firearms. But everybody's thinking, we're looking at what's coming down in 2024, Jeff. No, it's good to get a firearm now. And this is Canada. Does not have the gun culture that the United States has. Most Canadians have never even seen a gun. We're sort of like the British that way. So,
Got it.
but, Jeff, 2024 is looking a little bit nasty. And I want to talk about this a little bit later. So, more and more members are going, yeah, you know what? Let's get a firearm. And so we're bringing in a firearms instructor to teach them the firearm safety course so that they can apply for their firearms license. So that's one thing that we're doing. The other thing we're doing is now we're going to start to set up regular times where our community can go to the firing range. We're still trying to decide which is the best range to go to. There's an indoor range, but it's only like a 30-foot range, and so we'd like to shoot at greater ranges than that. We also have a couple of members that have farms, and they've set up ranges on their farm property, and so we'll be going there, but it's a bit of a pain in the wintertime to go outside on the farm and start shooting. There's a couple of days where it's warm enough, but most of the time it's too damn cold to be firing out in the farm field. But so
Wow.
we're setting up range days where we can go to the firing range and just practice with our firearms. One of my former students, he was a young boy when I taught him. I taught him, oh, this would be 30 years ago. He was like 8 years old, and he still remembered me. He wrote me a very nice letter the other day, and said, I want to come and train with you. I got some questions. I said, okay, I'll call you. I'll ask you. And he said, what kind of firearm should I get? So he just got his firearms license. So I advise him. For me, if you ask me, the first firearm you should buy is a shotgun because it's the most versatile, right? You can use it for self-defense, you can use it for hunting, and also because it'll be the last gun or the last type of long arm that the government will come after because they'll get into a lot of trouble. Here we have, in Canada, we have a lot of what they call First Nations, and they all hunt, and they all hunt with a shotgun. So if you're going to take away the shotguns from the First Nations, then you're going to get a little bit of pushback from that because also the other thing is First Nations have sort of like privileged status being a minority. So if the government appears to be picking on the minorities livelihood, they're going to get a lot of more pushback from the general public. So that's why I think a shotgun is the best choice. I recommended the Mossberg 500, but that's a little bit more expensive these days. I bought my Mossberg back when I was in California at the Big Five sporting goods store, and at that time I paid like
Oh yeah.
yeah, I paid two twenty
What'd you
five.
pay? Two fifty. I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, 225, 250 I think was with tax, and mine came
Uh
with
huh. Uh
two
huh.
barrels, an 18-inch cylinder bore, and a 28-inch ribbed slug barrel. So very
Got it.
versatile, and
Yes.
great for the money. It was.
Uh huh.
It's a little bit more expensive here, and since then too, everything's gone up. They're trying to price firearms. They keep taxing it so that we won't buy any. But so I then recommended a secondary choice, and that was the Mossberg Maverick 88, which is I read all the reviews. It's a pretty good shotgun. Not as good as the 500, but not bad by any means. So I spoke to him the other day. He's very happy to say that. He went out and he bought the Mossberg Maverick 88, and he got like 200 rounds of shotgun shells, 100 rounds of double-aught buck and 100 rounds of slugs and 25 rounds of birdshot. I said, well,
Very good. Uh
I
huh.
said, you're good to go now. You don't need to. He said, well, should I buy another firearm? I said, because, look, it's all expensive, right? And nobody's got that much money. I said, that's all you need. To be honest with you, that's all you need. You can shoot intruders, you can shoot looters, and you can shoot moose and bear, and with the bird shot, then you can go after the duck and the geese, and you can hunt with it. So that's all you need. We're building that. We're working now, starting to work on the security aspect. It's important now, and I think I want to share this with
Well,
you.
now's my friend. Now is the time. You've got to. Now is the time. We got 10 million invaders in this country here. Many from Mexico, Latino types, and then many from Africa who are being flown across the Atlantic,
Yes,
dumped off in Mexico with their 50 IQs. Sorry, that's the way it is. I don't want them to be 50 IQ'd people, but they are. Many of the Latinos are bottom of the barrel, third world garbage. Sorry, that's just a fact. They're not sending their brain trust up here. They're
no,
sending their jail populations, their lowlifes. And they're coming up here because they get everything for free. But there's
exactly.
going to come a time here when you're going to damn well have to protect yourself. If you're in any urban area where these people are, or even suburban area, it doesn't matter. They're going to
Yes,
come knocking at your door if the food supply and their freebies stop. They're going to ask you for donations or just kill you and take it. So you're right. Now's the time. Go.
yeah. Now's the time, and that's why the community decided to start to focus more on security this year. We're pretty well covered with the food, self-reliance with food. We have the bag and box co-op, and we've got the gardens, and we've got, it's going very well, and the medical team is doing very well. But yeah, now it's time to get a gun, folks. If you haven't already got one, as a prepper, I haven't been, like a big deal with the firearms. Yeah, I got a couple. Okay, I did buy a 9 millimeter Glock clone, a little bit cheaper version, but it works. When Justin Castro, our evil prime minister, suddenly out of nowhere banned all handgun sales, just banned them outright.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
So
he
how
said
are people supposed to get handguns for protection
they're
in
not.
Canada?
They're not. And also, you're not allowed to use a firearm for protection in Canada. There is no um, what's the law you have there in the states? The castle domain law, whatever.
Something I forget. I know
You
what
know
you
what I
mean.
mean? Where you're allowed if
Yeah,
they break into
you
your
have a
house.
right to protect your home.
Yeah,
Yes.
if they break into your house and they start gang raping your wife, you're allowed to shoot them. Not here in Canada. No, you're not even allowed to use harsh language. If
You
you
know what you
call,
might want to do is work up a part of your defensive posturing. That's a small group of grave diggers where you can get rid of corpses that are a problem.
Yeah, no, I bought my buddy, who's going to be part of the security team. He's ex-military. He's got, a 308 deer rifle. He's got a Beretta 92A, and so he's okay. But I bought him a little sign saying, "No trespassing. We're running out of space to bury the bodies."
Uh-huh.
Because that's what you're going to have to do. If you shoot somebody that's coming to your home, you better just drag his body down and throw them in the river, because they will go after you. They will charge you. And
I
even
believe it.
Justin Castro there, he was this about a year ago or something like that, when he was talking about it. He said Canadians do not have the right to defend themselves. He said it outright during a press conference. What do you mean?
Unreal.
You little
Unreal.
worm, you little weasel. How dare you say we don't have the right to protect ourselves? But meanwhile, we have third world immigrants like you wouldn't believe, Jeff. It's getting worse and worse and worse. It's unbelievable. Here, next door to where I live, there's another little small town called Tilsonburg. Now, it's just as quaint as it sounds, right? Tilsonburg. It's a little town, three churches, and it's in a rural area, farm country up here. Amish, Mennonites, Hutterites. Well, 2 years ago, we're driving down the road and we see this big billboard, and it's
Mm-hmm.
advertising a new housing project, subdivision that they're building. Okay. And then there's a picture, big, blown up picture of a happy family of Muslims in the advertising in a small town where, there are no Muslims. It's only white Christians and, 98.9% white and probably, 98.9% Christian. Why are you advertising a Muslim family for a housing development? Well, guess what? 5,000 Muslims are moving into that small town. It's only got 18,000 people, that small town. So, you know, 25% of that town's population overnight is becoming Muslim. And they already have two mosques in the town. Jeff, this is madness. Absolutely insanity.
Two already. Uh-huh.
Yep.
I
I
good.
I got a message from a follower. And they said that we're here in Waterloo, which is another small community area. We're, here everything's named after the British, right? So I live in Oxford, and next over is Waterloo. And she said that every hotel in Waterloo is booked solid with refugees. So this is the thing, Jeff. Our government, the enemy of humanity, which is what governments
Yes, of
are,
course. That's unreal.
is bringing in these people, putting them up in hotels, and you used to think, well, it's only the big cities that they're sending them to. No, they're sending them to every small town throughout the province, all across Canada, and you don't notice. You don't notice because they're all hidden in these hotels. She says, they don't work, they don't do anything. They just kind of hang out in front of the hotel smoking cigarettes and looking menacing, and that's what's going on. Now, Jeff, I got to say, my first book was The 36 Strategies of Ancient China, and when I was writing the book, I did a lot of research. I read everything I could on war and strategy and tactics and history. And one of the first conclusions I came to was that, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people by saying this, but America has never been in danger of invasion. Now, in World War One and World War Two, the big story was, well, if it wasn't for the U.S., you'd all be speaking German now. That
Oh, please. Actually, that may not be a bad thing,
that would
but
have
we'll
been a
leave that
good
go
thing.
for another time.
Yeah, we can talk about that at another time. But that was never a danger ever. There was never a danger that Germany was going to
Never. No
invade
chance.
America.
That is spoken by a true pinhead, an idiot. Sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. But I heard that. I remember hearing that a lot. Well, anytime somebody criticized America, they'd say, well, if it wasn't for America, you'd all be speaking German. No, that was
Oh
never.
God, phew. Sickening.
It's sickening. You know what
Sickening.
I mean. You've heard that story before.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Look, it's never been a danger.
No,
World War
not even on
One,
the table.
World War
Not at
Two.
all. Hold on, Stefan. I have to break here and thank our wonderful sponsors real quick. Come right back
Yep.
with Stefan. We're stopping in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. Talking with Stefan about getting ready. And I'm telling you, I don't want to repeat this too often, but I just have a deep sense after all the research, this year is going to be absolutely brutal for many people. Brutal. And you've got to get ready somehow, some way. Go ahead, Stefan.
Yeah. So we were saying about Germany in World War One and World War Two, and people thinking that they wanted to invade America. First of all, they had no interest in invading America. It was never in any of their writings or any of their plans. America was never in danger from the Axis powers. But even if they did want to invade America, they couldn't anyways because of the logistics of it. Running a
Right.
military campaign takes so much resources. It's not just the men and the bullets, but it's everything. It's the gas, the food, the
Germany had no navy to move anybody anywhere, for God's sakes. By 1943, they were not much left. They'd
ex-
lost all their capital ships. They didn't have Liberty ships like we did in the hundreds and hundreds, maybe I don't know how many we had. It's crazy. It's ludicrous to think that. Just typical comic book paranoia. Go ahead, please.
yeah. So there was no way they could invade, even if they wanted to. Forget about Japan or Italy. There was no way they could invade America, even if they'd wanted to. Even if they could get all this stuff across the Atlantic. Yeah, now you've got 3,000 miles of America. I mean, America's a huge country. I've driven from coast to coast like 5 times, and my God, it's a lot of space. Can you imagine sending an army across the United States? You would need like 20 million people to cover it. Look, it was never a danger, but what I've discovered and what I didn't imagine, Jeff, but I'm convinced now that this is what's happening, and that is you don't have to send an army overseas. What you can do is simply import them and put them up in hotels and pay for their welfare. I mean, look what since Biden has been in power, we've had 10,000 illegal immigrants a day. 10 million illegal immigrants since Biden
Yeah.
took power. That's a
Yep.
big army.
And that
10
doesn't count the 35 to 40 million who are already here. Don't
exactly.
forget them.
And it doesn't count the legal immigration as well. This is just the illegal immigration. And they've brought them all in, and they're all sitting in hotels, even here up in little tiny Amish farm country. Oh, we've got hundreds and hundreds of third world refugees, so to speak, sitting in hotel rooms. What a plan. Only the small hats could come up with a scheme that devious. And so now we have imported, and the American and Canadian taxpayers are paying for your invaders to set up here. Now, it's a simple matter because the other thing is also we have all these containers coming in. We have 8 million containers shipped into the United States every year. Are you telling me that the Port Authority is inspecting 8 million containers?
You know how many they inspect? And some of you out there can do the math. They inspect one out of 100. They look inside.
Exactly.
And if you want to bring something special in, you go to the Port Authority workers and give them a couple thousand, and they'll pick another one to
Ex-
look in.
exactly. That's what I was saying. They could easily ship in through those containers, take them apart, pack them in a container. You could have attack helicopters, you could have jets, you could have, tanks and
Hey,
jeeps and armored.
ammo, munitions. Look, Our RPGs, AKs, anything you could think of can go in a shipping container. And
Ex-
I think they have been shipping that stuff in here for the Chinese who were here, 5.5 million of them, Stefan,
mm-hmm.
for years. They've
I
been
think so
shipping
too,
that
Jeff.
stuff in here.
I think that's exactly what's happening. You know, here in Canada, this was about 3, 4 years ago. Turned out that Canada has signed some sort of agreement with China, the CCP, to allow PLA um,
Uh-huh.
to guard Chinese assets. And I remember thinking, why do they have to guard what, Canada's a dangerous country? You need to send your troops here to guard your assets? What assets? What are you guarding? And then the story got dropped. And anyways, look, we already know the Chinese Communist Army troops are already here, and they're guarding something we don't know what they're guarding. I know what they're guarding: munitions,
Of
armament
course.
stashes. That's what they're
Of course.
guarding, of course.
Thank you.
So the same thing, I guarantee, is there in the United States. It'd be so easy. Look, these people got lots of money. They go to the port authority and they say, "Here's $15,000. Do not search container 346." Right? That's it. And so I guarantee you, there are warehouses and storage lockers all over the country, filled with ammunition. Did you hear that story about the hotel owner in England that
No,
where
I don't think so.
okay, there was a podcast. It was a British hotel owner, and he said that the government came and said, "Listen, we want to take over the entire hotel, and we're going to house refugees here. The only thing is you have to fire your staff, and we'll bring in our own staff, and then we're going to use your hotel to house all these refugees." So, well, the government is paying a lot of money, and he said, "Well, I guess okay." And so now his hotel is full of refugees. Then he said it was military people that came and approached him, and they said, "We need to store some crates here on your property." And so they brought in, a couple of dozen crates, and then they said,
Wow. Wow.
"We want you to hold on to this package. Do not open it until we give you the signal to open. We'll contact you, and then you can open the
Uh-huh.
package." So,
What do you think? What's in it? Bioweapon, perhaps?
Jeff, of course you know. So the hotel owner starts feeling rather suspicious. What are these crates? What's in this package?
Oh, yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
he opened up the package, and in the package there were letters, and each letter was addressed to one of the refugees. There was like a couple of dozen, and
Marching orders.
each letter also had a key with a number on it. So
Mm-hmm.
he grabbed a couple of these keys, and then he went to where they stored these crates, and the keys opened up the locks on the crates. And he looked inside, and he said one crate was full of AK-47s, another crate was full of hand grenades, another crate was full of ammunition.
Right.
And so what he did was, like he said, "This is on my property. I can't be held responsible for this." So he had the crates shipped to a storage facility. Now, there's some doubt whether or not
Where was this? Stefan, go back, please. Where was this? Where did this happen?
in Bristol,
You remember?
yeah, in Bristol,
Bristol?
yeah,
All right, and that's in England.
yeah. And the story is on Twitter.
Mhm.
Anyways, so there's no confirmation. People are saying, "Well, he should go to the police."
Oh, please.
Please.
We don't need confirmation. These are smart people. They know exactly what they're doing. They've been planning this for a long time. And if they want to rise up and overthrow what's left of this tragic country down here, it'll be easy.
Mhm.
Easy. And they could take over Canada, too.
Absolutely.
The Chinese can roll this continent up, put it in their back pocket.
Yep. Absolutely, Jeff. That's why I'm saying stock up on ammo. Because if they send out this, look at all those videos. You've probably seen as many as I have of hundreds of thousands of refugees crossing the border in huge streams, and they all get a cell phone. They all get a cell phone. Listen, Jeff, I don't have a
Cell
cell phone.
phone, $5,000 uh, gift debit card, which is renewed, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
All housing, all costs of living covered, health, education, all of it. Americans are told to eat crap and die.
Yeah.
This is really ugly stuff.
No, it
You're
is,
right.
Jeff. It is ugly. Like I, I try. I'm a stoic, so I try to stay calm, right? But I'm
Yeah.
furious. I'm boiling. That we're paying for it, Jeff. They just raised the taxes here in Toronto. We have to raise the property taxes to pay for the refugees. Like, I mean, okay,
Right.
just rub everybody's nose in it. Okay, they just took a big dump on Canada, and they took a big dump on the United States. And now they want you to suck it up and lick it. It's just look. Okay, let's start this then. Let's start this. So they've got the cell phones, and I'm pretty sure the place is full of weapons caches throughout the country, and they all got their cell phone now. One of these days, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the days this year. All these refugees are going to get a phone call, and it'll say, "Go to such and such a place and open up. Here's the combination to the locker. Go there and pick up your weapons." And then just go out and kill everybody. Because look, these what they're bringing in here is low IQ garbage. They're not going to be able to form, military tactics or anything like that. They'll have,
No.
some that are right. They'll have some elite units that are already over here, guaranteed, and they'll target the police stations and the army bases. But the rest are just going to be told to go out and kill all the white people. Listen, they hate white people. They're bringing in all these
I
people,
know.
and they
I
hate
know.
our guts. Oh my God! White people think the liberals think, oh, we're doing them a favor. No, no, we're not doing them any favors because they have no respect for our country. They have no gratitude, Jeff. No gratitude. Nothing.
None.
We're
No, none.
supposedly we saved them
No,
from.
they're owed.
Yeah,
They're owed. And
supposedly.
believe me, that's the idea of coming to America and getting everything handed to you indefinitely, if not for the rest of your life, plus the $5,000 apparently renewable debit card. Everything's paid for. What? Of course they're going to do everything they can to get here. The communists have overthrown our government, your government,
Yep.
and they are giving everything away with the end purpose of eradicating European American stock and civilians. They want them dead. They
Yes.
want them out of here.
Look, there can be no doubt that all of this is a program of mass white genocide. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's white genocide. They hate our guts, and they were riled up to hate our guts by the special ones that God loves the most
Uh-huh.
with through their propaganda. I mean, they control the media and the movies and all that. They're all riled up to hate our guts. So I'm pretty sure that let's say there's like 10 million that they brought over. Even if it was just like 10%, that's a million troops. That's already more than the entire U.S. Army has on hand, right? You're already
Got it.
outnumbered by 10% of what they brought in from the last 10 years. Never mind the other 35 million from before that. So out of that 10%, there's a million people. Let's say 10% of them are special forces elite. They've been had special training. They got the maps that they need and the coordinates to hit specific targets. And then the other 900,000, just go out and kill all the white people you can. Have a good time. Rob, rape. Lots of white women to rape. Just rape them and kill them and loot and rob everything you can so that they create a constant state of absolute chaos. Mad Max running, walking down the street, shooting every white person they can. While that's happening, the elite, another 100,000, are targeting specific facilities, and probably any gold distributors and bank vaults, like who always does, and that's it. America's done. Canada's done. Will not recover from that. We will not recover from that. This is the big Ragnarok, the great battle at the end of the world. And if they unleash that this year, we are in serious trouble. The only thing that is left to do is to build security teams, neighborhood watch. We've got the neighborhood watch. Like I said, we had members of the other community that are part of their security team come to the meeting last night, and we started talking about it. We need to now, this is serious, we need to now get our neighborhood watch together. And our neighborhood watch is like on steroids, okay? Because we're all going to have firearms. It's not just, nosy old grannies staring through the blinders, through the curtains. It's going to be guys with firearms, even though it's illegal for us to use them, even in self-defense. But, if there's going to be 10,000 Somalians walking down the streets, looting and robbing and raping, no, the guns are coming out. We have to. This is now a battle for survival of the Aryan, the Western European. I hate to say white. I never identified as a white person until the last 10 years, for crying out loud. I was a Dutchman.
I agree.
You know?
Which I've always viewed people as essentially people. If
Yeah.
they're reasonable, they're just people. I'm almost about as colorblind as you can get. I just don't care
Me too.
unless someone's living up to their low life image and reputation. Then I care.
Yeah. And do I have to say that I've had black friends that I've admired, that I've had Indian
No, you don't
friends?
have to say it.
Do I have
No,
to say that? Do I have to justify
no.
my existence to say I have helped minorities my whole life, Jeff? I never judged them based on the color of their skin. Never did that. However,
And don't
now,
forget to tell me how many Jewish friends you've had too.
oh
Don't
my God,
forget
I was
that.
an honorary Jew, Jeff. No, I was.
I got it. No, no, I'm serious.
I
I
was at
got it.
all the bar mitzvahs, my
Uh-huh.
boss, my doctor, my accountant, my dentist, my three of my
Yeah,
mistresses, all Jews. Oh, I
I
know all
got it.
about the Jews. They love me, Jeff, because first of all, Jews love Dutch people. Remember, we hid Anne Frank in the attic.
It's the least you could do, right? Even if
Yeah.
she didn't exist.
Oh,
Uh,
I could tell you stories. I plan to do a series of stories of my. I'm going to call it "My Life Among the Chosen." Oh my God, they're funny stories too. They are very strange, weird people. So yeah, no, listen, I've always been that way, but no more, no more. I'm consulting with a group that is trying to do what we're doing in Norway, and I was in the middle of our podcast a couple of days ago when we had a power blackout here, and the last thing I was saying to him was, us northern people are too polite. We're too polite, too forgiving. And then I got cut off, and I got emails later that started a heated discussion. They're starting to realize that, listen, maybe we've put up with too much bullshit. Maybe we should have pushed back. And I'm going, yeah, we should have pushed back 40 years ago, 50
you
years
got
ago.
it.
We should have pushed back. It's gone way too far now. But anyways, folks, we're almost out of time. But this is what I foresee
We got
happening.
3 minutes. Go ahead. We're okay.
Yeah? Oh, okay. But this is where we're headed, folks. I really believe that this guy from Bristol, England, now they were saying, well, he should have gone to the police or gone to the military. I replied, I said, how naive are you? Who do you think's behind this? Who do you think brought all those immigrants in? The police and the military, the government. If he goes to the military, he will disappear. So, no, that's why, and then they said, well, he lied about it being in Bristol. He's probably not in Bristol. And I said, well, listen, I would lie too. I'm not going to tell you my exact location if I'm going to confess to knowing this information. I'm not going to tell you where I live. So he lied. Maybe it's Bristol. Maybe it's, somewhere else in England. I kind of suspect that it's more closer to Wales. Yeah, I would lie too. So, but the thing is, years ago I already said this. If you wanted to take over America, this is how I would do it. Because, studying so much strategy and tactics I like to give myself um, a challenge. How would you do this? So the reason I started studying strategy was, to me, it was like a formula to be able to succeed and win in any endeavor. You need to use strategy. And if you know your strategy, then you'll be able to succeed and overcome. And I'm working feverishly, Jeff, to figure out the different strategies we can use to win this war and not allow our people to be genocided.
Got
And
it? Yeah.
one of the solutions is what we've been doing for the last 3 years, forming communities, underground communities. I was on AI, ChatGTP, and I punched in the name of our community. Who are these people? It came up blank. So we have no internet presence at all. Not even AI knows we exist. So this is good. This is what we call OPSEC, operational security. Don't let anybody know what you're doing. So that's one of my strategies, Jeff, that I came up with. This is how we prevent the genocide of the white race, is by forming autonomous communities, communities that can grow their own food, take care of their own medical needs, set up their own communications network, and now the focus is slowly but surely turning towards our own personal safety and security. So that's
Well,
one
you
that's some of the strategies. But I told on different talk shows, I said, listen, you give me 50 well-trained, disciplined men, I could take down America in a week. I could. There's strategies
Well, if you
involved.
start talking about knocking out the power grid,
Yep,
that's not as that's a very big secret
I know,
that it's
Jeff.
easy to do. It's not hard to do.
It's not hard to do. 50 guys driving across the country. All they have to do is grab a shotgun, shoot out the back window from of the car, every major transformer, every 100 miles, and you've taken down the entire power grid. And once the entire power grid is out, America's a
Yeah.
sitting duck. I could do it with 50
I
men. And we've got, what, 8 million people here. So,
yeah,
folks, be
yeah.
careful.
Sad but true.
Be
Sad but true.
careful.
Stefan, uh,
Yes,
be safe, and I'll send you. Yeah, I'd really like a cane. That'd be great. Thank you for that, and we'll talk next month. Let me know if anything comes up that it might be necessary to put out on the program for people. I'm happy to help. So
I will, Jeff.
keep
Thank
me
you very
posted.
much. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you. Good night, friend. All
Good
right.
night, my buddy.
Okay, that's Stefan, and he's a good one. You can do a lot of good things out there with the right leadership. Be right back with you on Monday. It'll go quickly. Thank you for being here this week. It's been an interesting and varied week of information.